In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create bright and colourful dog paintings using acrylic paints. The techniques I'll show you can be used for painting any colourful animal, but for this video I'll be focusing specifically on dogs. If you'd like to watch the full-length step-by-step tutorial and paint along with me to create this colourful cockapoo, just head over to my Patreon, which is Rachel Froud Art, where you can get instant access to this and all of my other full-length art tutorials. First up, you'll need to sketch the outline of your dog onto your canvas. Some artists prefer to go straight into painting without sketching first, and that's absolutely fine, it's all personal preference. I personally like to sketch first to make sure the proportions are correct before I start painting. There's nothing worse than finishing a painting and realising the head's too wide or the eyes are in the wrong place. Getting the sketch right is especially important for pet portraits, as you want it to look like that specific dog. There are a few ways that you can do this, and whichever you choose is completely up to you. You can simply trace the outline of the dog onto your canvas. This is the quickest and easiest method, which is perfect if you want to save time and get straight into painting. I've linked a video below showing exactly how to trace your reference photo without needing a printer. There's also the grid technique. I use this technique a lot, especially for larger canvases. It involves dividing your image and your canvas into smaller squares and then drawing one square at a time. This helps to prevent your brain from distorting the proportions and make sure that everything is in the right place. I'll link my video to this technique too. You can also just sketch the outline freehand. This is great if you're confident in your drawing skills. It takes more practice, so if you're just starting out, I'd recommend one of the first two methods. Next, it's time to choose your colours. I always plan my colour palette before painting so that I have a clear idea of which colours will go where. This makes the painting process much more fun and stress-free, as you'll know that your colours will work well together. One of the most important things to understand when painting colourful animals is that the values are far more important than the actual colours that you choose. Value simply means how light or dark a colour is. If you've watched any of my videos before, you've probably heard me mention highlights, midtones and shadows. These are all values. It can really help to turn your reference photo black and white to see the values clearly. In this photo, for example, you can see the darkest areas that are almost black. These are the shadows. The lightest areas that are almost white. These are the highlights, and the rest are the midtones. Even if you completely change the colours, as long as your values match the reference, your painting will still look right. For example, if we turn this colourful dog painting black and white, you'll see that the values still match the original photo. This means that as long as you paint dark shades in the shadows and light shades in the highlights, you can actually use any colour that you want and the painting will work. Having said that, in my experience, I have found that there are some colour choices that work better than others. One simple approach is to exaggerate the natural colours of the dog's fur. That's what I did in this painting of my own dog. It's a great way to make your painting bright and colourful while still keeping a touch of realism. If you take your reference photo and turn up the saturation, it will give you an idea of what colours you can use. For example, my dog's natural tan fur becomes a bright orange when I boosted the saturation, so I chose lots of orange and yellow tones for her portrait. For this grey French bulldog, turning up the saturation reveals lots of shades of blue, so if you were to paint this dog, you could use blue tones for the grey fur. Another option I use often is to use warm colours, such as yellows and oranges, in the highlights, and cool colours like blues and purples in the shadows. This works because it mimics natural sunlight. It's warm where the light hits and cool where it doesn't. And it allows you to use almost every colour in the rainbow while still keeping it looking natural. The eyes are one of the most important parts of any animal painting, as they're usually the first thing that people notice. I always spend extra time on the eyes, adding in lots of detail. Even in bright, colourful paintings, I still recommend using natural colours for the eyes. Using overly vibrant or random colours in the eyes can make them look a bit unnatural. Next up is the nose, which is such a cute and distinctive feature on dogs. I've made a separate video on how to paint dogs' noses, which I'll link below. You can add some more fun colours here, just make sure that your values still match your reference photo. Now for the fun part, painting the colourful fur. The technique that you use will depend on the type of fur that your dog has. Some dogs have curly fur, others short and smooth, and some have sleek, shiny coats. Whatever the fur type, there are techniques that you can use to recreate that texture. I've made videos on how to paint curly fur, white fur and shiny fur, and I'll link to all of these below so that you can explore the different methods. For each of these techniques you can still use any colour you like. For example, to paint curly fur you start off by painting the darkest shades and then building up the curls using lighter paint each time. For this colourful cockapoo, which has curly fur, I started painting the darkest shades of each section in the colours that I've chosen, then I gradually built up the curls with lighter shades of those colours. This creates texture and depth whilst also building up the bright colours. Here's a few final tips to make your colourful pet portraits really stand out. Increase the contrast by darkening your shadows and brightening your highlights. This will make your colours really pop. Use certain colours next to each other to make them appear more vibrant. For example, painting the background a contrasting colour to the dog's fur will really make him stand out. Varnish your finished painting with a satin or gloss varnish to make the colours appear more saturated and vibrant. I've also created a video full of my top tips for making acrylic paints look brighter and more vibrant, so check that out if you'd like even more ideas. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that it inspires you to create your own colourful dog paintings. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this, and check out my Patreon if you want full-length tutorials to paint along to. Thanks for watching!